Hello and welcome to the Get Good Grand Finals. I am Airborne. I am here joined by Shy Guy. We are here. We're very excited to go ahead and bring you some very good Overwatch in this rematch between Nia Ninjas and Lunar Flare.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting kind of tournament here in Get Good Limited, and here in the rookie division, we've got like these two kind of tight teams that have really been kind of running roughshod over the rest of the field. But when it comes to their matchup, it was very close last time. A 5 map series that Lunar Flare came out on top of. So we'll see if they get a repeat performance this time around, or if the Nia Ninjas can in fact kind of reverse their fortunes and come away with the title.
Yeah, and that's what they're definitely hoping for. And then later on, we're going to have another Grand Finals game between Fruit Smack and Crunch Time Crunchers. So, very much looking forward to both of these Grand Finals games today. I'm very excited to go ahead and cast some great Overwatch for you guys today. And just to let y'all know, here are our brackets. Obviously, we have Lunar Flare going all the way through until their little hiccup at Nia Ninjas. Again, a 5 map series. The Nia Ninjas as well, going undefeated up until the winners final, but immediately dropping down, beating Armada in the losers finals, popping back up to the grand finals, and now we got a rematch. Ready for another 5 map series?
Absolutely. I mean that is what we are always hoping for. In any match, we want things to be close, but in a grand finals, especially, we want these teams to kind of bring the hype, and I'm sure that they will here today. It's going to be really exciting. We'll see if Winter Flare can kind of continue to put in the work to stay on top. At this point, they haven't lost just yet, but this is of course going to be their toughest test to this point, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store for us.
Yes, and just to let y'all know, Get Good is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go ahead and show your support. ExpressVPN is a great service, and thank you for helping us put on Get Good this season. And moving on to the teams that we have currently. Obviously, we have a game later today, but moving on to the teams we have currently, Nia Ninjas is looking like they're going to be putting on their original roster that they put on last game. So we are going to get Hapsy and No Limit, as well as Disease and Despisode.
Despesto, dude. I think
That's
yeah,
not
that's
very.
that's a lot of letters in a row. The rest of the team a little bit easier. Double dollar E4E. Make it very simple. Then over on the side of Lunar Flare, Snoop Ferret and Big Al, Lazy Turtle and Get Some Booty, and then Regina Magi and Jacket Manat, or Mana Jacket Mana TG. That is going to round out the lineups here today for our rookie division grand final, and we are just about ready to get into the action. We've got teams in the lobby. We are getting everything ready to go, and we will be underway very shortly.
Very shortly. And looking at both of these teams in their last matchup, Snoop Ferret was able to do so much on the pardon me. He was able to do so much in the early game on the Junkrat, but once they found a way to shut down that Junkrat, he was able to pull out an Echo out of nowhere. He was able to pull an Echo out of nowhere and really just kind of push forward and really take over the entire game. And I think that's what he really needs to do again. But this time, I think Nia Ninjas are going to be prepared for maybe that Junkrat or that Echo. So maybe we need to find a new trick and figure out where we're going to go with that one. And just talking about Nia Ninjas, they did have a very good DPS performance, and I think their tank line is really going to come out. Disease and Dest. They're really going to go out and hopefully win this first matchup. Control Tower was a really good map for Lunar Flare. We're going to be going to Lijiang Tower to go ahead and start with. So, what do you expect to see from each of these teams, especially in the rookie division?
Given what I saw of their previous matchup, especially here on Lijiang Tower, it looks like we're going to see quite a bit of those very brawly compositions out from both sides, really. Especially Lunar Flare, they were rocking a lot of a tank line that has like become much more popular recently. It's something that has never really been in the meta when it comes to the past in Overwatch, and that's the Rhine Orisa. The double shield, kind of a new variation on it, is coming into vogue, and they were a team that was really finding quite a bit of success with it. We'll see if they kind of stick with that style this time around, as Lazy Turtle and Get Some Booty are going to be kind of leading the charge for them.
And there's going to be Candymons and Snoop Ferret on the Junkrat, so we'll see if that ends up sticking. Very excited to go forward to this Junkrat battle once again, and we're going to get Lazy Turtle on this Orisa. So I see both of these teams kind of moving forward with it, kind of mirroring comps, except for one specific tank. So we're going to see how they do. With these differing compositions. Then we're going to go ahead and get started to see the Ninjas. It looks like they're going to go ahead and try and teleport the point. Both teams teleporting to point, so we're going to see how this goes. Candymon's immediately going to be taking down. Nia Ninjas very much ready for this composition for Lunar Flare this time around.
Yeah, I mean, and he got literally, I think, the single pick that was probably the most impactful possible in this first fight. Taking out the Baptiste just completely takes the knees out from underneath you on these first fights. You have virtually no sustainability at that point, no immortality field, no kind of burst healing able to come through. It's just the Lucio at that point, and there's no way you're going to be able to win out from there.
Oh no, there's absolutely no way, but Booty going to be able to take out E4E, Beagle going to go down to Disease, so we're going to be starting off with a pick apiece, but the Riptire going to come in, take out the Immortality field, but that seems to do just enough damage for Nia Ninjas to go ahead and push in, take down Lunar Flare, and kind of send them back into spawn, thinking about what they've done.
Certainly they're able to take that fight really aggressively, knowing that they've got the positional advantage. The Riptire, doesn't find the kills, but does a tremendous amount of damage to several members who were kind of saved by the immortality field, but still lose a massive chunk of their health. And now we're going to have to try and fight back in here, but they're working their way into what could be an amplification matrix, an earth shatter. That wall can come out. Absolutely, there's the matrix to start things off.
Snoop Ferret going to be going around, trying to get to the behind the team. Hopefully going to be taking out the immortality field. Does get taken out, and a lot of damage does get done. Snoop Ferret going to end up taking out Double Dollar, and now they're going to be slowly pushing in onto Nia Ninjas. So at this point, Lunar Flare does have a little bit more sustainability with Lazy Turtle on that Orisa, and there is a flash in for Beagle, but the little bit more sustain is going to work into their favor, especially with the high damage done. And now, I honestly kind of feel Lunar Flare is going to have a tougher time retaking, but they may have a little bit easier of a time keeping the point, especially with that Orisa, that long-range damage that they're able to do.
Yeah, the poke is really good, and in these longer fights, the Orisa can find a tremendous amount of value. Nia Ninjas, to get the most out of their composition, they really need to get up in your face and get aggressive. And in that last one, they were playing it a little bit too slowly for my taste. This time, they're going to try and come in with the Riptire right in around the back.
Oh, and that was just a nice little shatter to kind of, and Big L is able to save his Reinhardt, but Booty and Ferret are able to take out too, and this is exactly what I was talking about. They're able to kind of chill in the back of the point, do as much damage as possible. The Riptire didn't get exactly what Candymines wanted, but that still doesn't change the fact that the amount of damage that they were able to put out into the front line of Nia Ninjas really didn't work out in the favor. It didn't really work out in Nia Ninjas' favor. It's just so much damage, and they have to travel across the entire point. So maybe they need to attack from multiple angles or something else.
Yeah, certainly they are going to be trying to go right at it again. They're running out of time. Oh, man.
Just got to get out of there really, really quick. Candymon's immediately going to be taken down. Lazy Turtle taking out 2 on the way out, and Lunar Flare with an Earth Shatter and a Amplification Matrix. But they do have to be careful for Disease's Graviton Surge, regardless of any combinations that they could. That Graviton Surge is still an extraordinarily powerful ultimate, especially with a Riptire and an Amplification coming up for Nia Ninjas.
Yeah, certainly, but I'm not sure that they're going to have time to wait on those ultimates. They're going to have to go very shortly here. They got about 10 seconds left to work with here, but losing that
here it is!
Early.
And that's exactly what they needed! Amplification Matrix not going to be enough from Lunar Flare, and that Riptide Graviton combo is definitely going to help them out. And now Lunar Flare is in the same position that Nia Ninjas was, and now Nia Ninjas are going to hold up forward, making sure that they can't touch point.
Certainly this is going to make things very difficult as Lunar Flare have to try and fight their way back onto this point. They've got a very limited amount of time, but the speed boost is getting them there. The sound barrier is crucial.
Oh! Snoop Fair going to be taking down Candymons and Desperado going down, and Lunar Flare is going to be able to storm back onto this point. And now, very, very feebly, Disease is not going to be able to take out anybody on his way in, and they're going to be able to cap it with Overtime Despair. Big Al having a Deadeye, just ready and waiting for anyone to come onto the point. And there go, not able to take out anyone, but able to do a lot of damage. E4E going down, and this stall is just coming through. Snow Ferret going down.
Yeah, it was a nice last second attempt there from Nia Ninjas to get back in there and recontest. I mean, E4E stayed alive a lot longer than they probably had any right to in that moment, but in the end, it's just not enough. Lunar Flare have what it takes to close out that first point, and a lot of it comes back on the back of the pace that they come out with in that really final engagement. When they were scrambling to get to the point, they amp up the speed boost, they throw in the sound barrier, and they just run right over Nia Ninjas.
They really do, and now we're going to be going on to another point where this Junkrat can really work, but Hapsy not able really to show that Doomfist that he was able to, essentially dominate with in the first couple of maps in the last game. So, maybe they're a little bit more ready for Hapsy, but again, we're going to get dueling compositions, except the one difference between the Zarya and the Orisa. So we're going to see, again, how this storms out. So right now, I think Lunar Flare has to focus on trying to get this point first, because it worked so well for them. They're able to put so much damage out, and now they're already taking so much ground already, and they're going to be pushing in immediately. Lunar Flare needs to be kind of rotating around the point, but right now Nia Ninjas, in a sense, already backed off the point, regrouping a little bit, but I don't know if backing up and regrouping was the best idea. And he's able to get the Sentry Turret, but Candymon's going to be going down. Hapsy trying to find that crucial pick, trying to get another one, but so much damage coming out from Lunar Flare, and the fact that they've already just set up shop on point, you can't really do much at this point. You got to back out, regroup, and I think right now Hapsy needs to maybe, again, I think they maybe need to take multiple attack angles instead of all coming in at once.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of desperation there. They were trying to get back in to recontest before the point flipped over. So I understand that approach, but you definitely want that Doomfist coming in from unexpected angles. You don't want them just going head on. It was very difficult for Hapsy to really find a lot of value, but Snoop Ferret up on the high ground is going to get forced out of this position. Can't stick around for long. Doesn't get an opportunity to unleash the tire from up top, and now just going to go try and
able to pick off Candymons in that Immortality Field.
Immortality Field, that's a big mistake there in the positioning.
Oh, but Hapsy able to take down the Junkrat, so neither team with a Junkrat, but right now they do have to be careful for the Doomfist. Gonna get slowly burned down. Hapsy almost taking down the Baptiste, but not able to get enough damage in there. That Immortality Field comes out, and now the Nia Ninjas is down both of their DPS and now getting backed off once again. I think that was a great push for Nia Ninjas. It's just, again, maybe they need to do that dual prong. If their Doomfist goes in, that Reinhardt needs to be in their face, taking attention away from the front line. And this is just a little bit of, maybe this is just a little bit of, hey, we haven't warmed up enough yet, or something of that sort. But now they're going to be pushing in with this speed drop, and the Shadow's going to be coming down, and the Doomfist finally getting Jack, and we're going to be getting dueling kills. Hapsy doing his darndest to keep his team in this fight, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Both tanks and Snow Ferret alive for Lunar Flare, and 95, 96, 97. The ball's going to be coming back. They're going to be activating overtime, so they need to be very, very careful about Nia Ninjas. They still have plenty of pick potential.
Certainly, but they've lost E4E. Deathpest is down as well. The Desperation stall is not going to be sufficient in this case. They don't have the focus fire necessary to work through that sound barrier that came out from the Lucio on the other side. So Lunar Flare take map number 1. It was really close. I mean, especially that first point. Nia Ninjas really put up a good fight. But once Lunar Flare, got in control, kind of got into their groove, then they really started to take over.
Most definitely. And, Candymon's doing very, very well with that Junkrat tire, but Snowfair was able to get a little bit more value. And, coming at this point, it was kind of just like, what do you do when you're facing a team on point and they already have control? They already have control of everything at this point. And again, what I had to say is maybe they needed to come in on a different angle. Maybe they needed to come in on multiple angles. So, Doomfist flanking Reinhardt going in and the Junkrat kind of coming in from the side. So much damage off of multiple angles that really could have just kind of pincered in Lunar Flare. But, them coming straight forward or not really pushing in together got their Doomfist killed or their Junkrat picked off. Or, and obviously, Snowfair able to build up those tires incredibly fast. Not, no disrespect no disrespect at all to Nia Ninjas, but he was able to build up those tires so fast because they kept kind of charging forward with that brawl style, like one track mind style, and they weren't really able to get into Lunar Flare's face.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and you saw, the way that Snoop Ferret was kind of able to really pop off on the Junkrat, whereas, on the other side, it wasn't the same kind of level of, I would say, effectiveness for Candymons, playing the same pick for the most part, because there were so many shields in the way. Like the double shield comp really kind of eliminates a lot of what I think is some of the value of the Junkrat, especially at these lower levels, which is a lot of times you just get like a random pick because your Junkrat spam happens to find a couple of direct grenade kind of connections immediately. But when there's like shields galore just like standing between you and the targets that you're trying to actually deal with, then it does actually become very difficult. And it's something that we saw there on map number one. Something that does deserve mention in this moment, of course, is the fact that in their previous meeting in the upper bracket finals, Lunar Flare, they took the first map of the series and they took the last map of the series. They have been very, very strong on control throughout this entire tournament, and obviously even in this individual matchup. So for the side of Nia Ninjas, either you're going to have to try and kind of reverse that situation if we get to another map 5 scenario, or you're just going to have to sweep the next 3 maps that we've got on the table if they cannot find the answers when it comes to control.
No, and Control is a map that they did struggle with in the last time around against Lunar Flare, and that's how Lunar Flare was really able to close out this map. And obviously both teams were able to make adjustments, and I hope Nia Ninjas is able to make a lot of adjustments, and they kind of go forward in this point and realize at this point like they need to kind of like surround them, or even maybe play a different composition, like maybe throw in a Farah in there. We are on, we do have a couple of changes in the patch. We do have a new patch that we are playing on. So there are a couple changes. Maybe we get a Farah, maybe we see, maybe a Sigma or something a little bit different. So I look forward to maybe change it up a little bit, because obviously Lunar Flare is winning this head-to-head battle when it comes to control.
Mm-hmm.
But, using an example from the last game, they were able to immediately bounce back on Escort, on, 2CP or Assault. They were able to kind of bounce back on those maps. So I can see that adjustment being made, but also Lunar Flare has the experience of almost losing a 5-map series to their comps. So they may be a little bit more, Lunar Flare may also be a little bit more prepared in this case.
Yeah, certainly. And, as far as, adaptations when it comes to kind of individual hero picks that the Ninjas could kind of go towards, the Echo is definitely another option when it comes to the DPS picks. Anything like you mentioned the Pharah already, but the Echo is another thing that can be really good into the Junkrat on the other side. Remove some of those squishier targets for the Junkrat to be able to kind of effectively deal damage to. That's definitely something that could be in the cards here for Nia Ninjas. I mean, they probably are also looking for some bigger contributions out of Hapsy, who in that first map, first was playing the Symmetra to try and kind of match what we were seeing out of Lunar Flare, and then goes over the Doomfist for Control Center, but just was struggling to find necessarily the right targets to get on top of. At times was like jumping and slamming down onto the Baptiste, who is one of the few kind of backline members who really has a kind of easy ways to avoid some of the Doomfist damage, has the self heal, has the immortality field if they need it, has those that super jump to be able to avoid anything like the rocket punch coming in. So it definitely becomes a little bit difficult if that's the target you're going for. So maybe some different prioritization of who you're going after could result in some better things here for Nia Ninjas. We'll just have to see how that goes. But for now, we are about to head to Rialto for map number 2, and this is we are seeing things kind of play out eerily similarly to how they did last time around. This is where Nia Ninjas were able to even up the scoreline and bring themselves back into the series, and they need a repeat performance like that this time around as well.
They very much do, and I think, again, both teams adjusted well, and Nia Ninja's going to be going with the McCree May, it looks like. So we may see that comp change up a little bit, but Big Al and Snoop Ferret are going to be playing the May Reaper comp, and Lazy Turtle is going to be playing that Diva, hopefully to eat a lot of the major damage that is going to be coming from Nia Ninjas. So maybe to contest snipers or maybe contest that high ground, but we're essentially going to be getting the same type of support line Reinhardt. So that doesn't seem to be changing for either team.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting largely very, very similar styles and very meta comps on both sides here. I mean, Nia Ninjas, that is about as standard as you can get when it comes to running these brawl comps across the board. The Reaper and the Diva are picks that might be, adjustments based on the most recent patch that nerfed Zarya a tiny bit, gave Reaper a little bit of a buff, and might give Lunar Flare an advantage here if they can put them in good use.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push forward like I think they should have been doing, but also they don't have that Orisa. Lunar Flare doesn't have the Orisa anymore, so we're going to be seeing, again, these teams meeting at the corner. So we're going to see who gets the first pick, who is able to make the most of their positioning, and looks like Nia Ninjas are going to be taking this high ground, hopefully trying to pick off someone in that courtyard who's a little bit straggling, and that's exactly what they needed. No Limit picking off the Baptiste, which is some of the main source of healing. Vigar going down, and now it looks like Nia Ninjas found exactly the picks that they need, trapping Lunar Flare in this little corner, and looks like they're going to be able to take this first point with relative ease.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of recontest can come through here for Lunar Flare. A lot of their players kind of backing off, trying to escape with their lives to potentially get back in here. And that's one of the good parts of defending Rialto first, is you can hold at that first corner, and typically you're going to have enough time to get back in here before the payload reaches its destination. So one more fight to decide it all.
Yes, and we're going to already see a couple of ultimates coming out. Some booty going to be pushing forward into this May ult, and here comes a Deadeye, only going to get Jacket Man. So that is the Lucio coming out and the D-Mech, so that's still a couple of good picks for Nia Ninjas, but they're going to get backed off a slight bit. That May ultimate from Snoop Ferret, Blizzard, and the Graviton Surge is going to hit the wall. That's a little bit counterproductive from the teammates, and No Limit not able to take out Snoop Ferret, so Jacket Man going to be taken down again through the amplification matrix. And he can't seem to get out of spawn right now, and now No Limit just having a field day with a shatter, taking down multiple, some booty, getting the booty that he wants, slowly getting taken down by Desperado Dud, though. And, this fight is just going kind of back and forth. We do have a Death Blossom online. Vigal is just going to normally hold off this Eva Bomb, gonna be taking out No Limit, so they're gonna be just dueling back and forth ultimates, just seeing who eventually caps this point or holds it.
Yeah, certainly the sound barrier now committed by E4E. They do not want to give this up, but the Death Blossom is absolutely massive, completely forces Nia Ninjas out of the fight. They've got to go on the retreat, and Big Al is having none of it. Just guns them all down. Great job from Nia Ninjas, and now that is just a tremendous amount of the time bank just disappeared, evaporated for Lunar Flare at the moment they are on the back foot. Or sorry, they are on the front foot. They have done so much work in this fight and are really looking strong right now.
They are really looking strong, but 2 ultimates for Nia Ninjas coming in, especially with a Shatter and a Graviton Surge just waiting till Snoop Ferret has to use this Blizzard very, very conservatively, hopefully getting a couple of picks, ending this fight, being able to build their ultimates, and Snoop Ferret going down, paying with his life for that Blizzard. But the Blizzard is going to be able to freeze all of Nia Ninjas. Oh, and down goes the entire team. That Deadeye and Amplification Matrix used, but not able to get too much. And now 30 seconds left, and Lazy Turtle coming up on a Diva Bomb. But again, that Graviton Surge and a Blizzard for Nia Ninjas coming up. So there is a lot going on with this next fight, and this could really just decide, is Nia Ninjas able to get through? And during the last game, Nia Ninjas was able to get through in the last second.
Yeah, certainly. This is their opportunity. They've got to execute on this fight. Candyman's getting shattered immediately. No Blizzard.
No Blizzard going in, but here comes the Graviton Surge. We're going to see how this one does. And we're going to see if the Diva Bomb maybe comes out. Immortality Field going to be coming out. No ultimates except for the Graviton Surge. Candymon's hopefully going to be able to make it back in time. This is just so crucial. Disease going down and not able to do much. Point going to be left alone. And Nia Ninjas is going to get stopped in the courtyard right before first point.
And get some booty. I mean, it's not the flashiest Earth Shatter you will ever see by any means. Not
that was an important Earth Shatter.
Yes, exactly. It is not like the biggest highlight play you're ever going to witness, but by God, it won them that fight, and it won them the first point hold there. I mean, the Blizzard was everything for Nia Ninjas in that moment, and Candymon's was the absolute last person they could afford to lose. And you saw how little impact the Graviton Surge on its own was able to have. It's as simple as throwing out the Immortality Field to really avoid any damage in that situation. And Nia Ninjas, without that DPS, all just fall to pieces in the ensuing fight. They cannot sustain in that moment. And Lunar Flare, they have made a statement here. They do not want this one going to 5 maps like it did last time around. They want to make this quick and easy.
They want that grand finals win so quickly. They don't want it to go to 5 maps, but Nia Ninja's still very, very capable of holding Lunar Flare, so that you cannot count them out. Candymon's going to be switching over to the Hanzo, and we're going to be getting a double shield. Sigma a little bit stronger than he previously was, so we're going to see how this double shield composition on high ground works against Lunar Flare's Brawl composition. So Lunar Flare is going to have to close the distance pretty quickly, so we're going to see how they do while they are the ones who have to close in. Candymon's getting 2.
He's angry. That's really, really big there for the side of Nia Ninjas. They need this desperately. They need any kind of free fights that they can manage over the course of this round are going to be absolutely crucial, and that's exactly what they've been able to get here, courtesy of the Hanzo. And now, we are just going to see a reset here. And for Nia Ninjas, the name of the game is just continue to keep Lunar Flare at arm's length right now.
They really have to. They cannot allow them to get onto them. And we already have a ultimate with a pull and a Dragons, hopefully taking out a couple, but only able to do some damage, which could be huge. But give me some booty, taking out both tanks on the front line. And that's a huge part of the team immediately going down. They got to back off the bridge, but the point is getting ever so close to that golden rectangle of death. Of victory, actually, my bad. And they're going to be able to contest, immediately switching off of this Orisa to a Ball Diva. And, Lunar Flare is going to be slowly picking apart Nia Ninjas on this point. Candymon's able to get it, but the Shatter is going to go ahead and win them the fight. Lunar Flare taking a 2-0 lead in this Grand Finals series.
You can understand what Nia Ninjas are going for there with the double shield. Like, it's all about the poke damage. It's all about trying to keep your opponent at bay for a while. But it's just so hard when the speed boost gets amped up. It's nearly impossible to just keep that Reinhardt from being able to get in on top of you, and the brawl really is too overwhelming in that situation for Nia Ninjas to be able to deal with. They needed something of a miracle if they were going to be able to pull off the hold and take map 2, but now they find themselves in just an absolute hole, like down 2-0 in a series that was already like on a razor's edge the previous time these teams met. Now you've got to do something that feels virtually impossible, and that's the reverse sweep. It's never where you want to be, obviously, but that is the task that Nia Ninjas are staring down right now.
Yeah, and I feel like they can do it. It is something definitely possible, especially with these next two maps. We're going to be having hybrid, and we're going to be having assault for these next two maps. And a match can flip on its head in two maps very, very easily, but they need to get their strategies in order. They had some success, honestly. They had some very good success, but it wasn't very long lasting with that double shield composition, and they weren't able to keep the distance that they wanted. And Lunar Flare was able to get up very, very close, very, very quickly onto onto their front line. So I think maybe they end up taking more of a backwards approach, going for more of a brawl style, or completely changing it up entirely. And I think that's definitely what they need to do in this break. So we're gonna be going ahead. We're gonna be going ahead and going into break. We're going to come. We're gonna be coming back. Lunar Flare is going to be up 2-0. We're going to be going into our next map, which is Hybrid. Be prepared. There is so much more game left to be played. Do not count anyone out yet. Welcome back to the Elo Hell GitGud Grand Finals between Lunar Flare and Nia Ninjas. We are in the rookie division. Nia Ninjas is down 2-0. All they have right now, their backs against the wall. They need a reverse sweep to win. What do they do to win?
It's a really tough position to find yourselves in. For starters, you pretty much got to kind of completely reverse at least the momentum that has now been accrued by Lunar Flare over the course of these two maps, especially there on Rialto. I mean, the impact of a full hold like that for both sides is really, really intense. For Lunar Flare, it's just going to give them all of the confidence in the world as they continue on through this series. Like on some level, they are probably thinking to themselves, "Hey, we got this one in the bag. We got one more map. This one is pretty much locked up." But for Nia Ninjas, it's a blow that you really are kind of left reeling from, and now have to kind of dig deep in this moment, because it's not going to be easy, but you're now in a situation where mistakes are no longer kind of an option for you. I mean, at least in the macro sense, you can't not let anything slip. So you've really just got to buckle down in this moment, try and tighten up your play, and figure out what things were working for you and what were not. I mean, it was a little bit few and far between over the course of these first two maps, as Lunar Flare looking pretty dominant here so far. But we know that Nia Ninjas are kind of capable of a comeback like this. They made it wasn't the O2 like reverse sweep near comeback for them the last time around against Lunar Flare in the upper bracket final, but they were in the hole in that series and fought their way back. So they definitely have some fight left in them, to be sure, but they're going to have to prove it tremendously here as we head to King's Row, map number 3. Just on the attack first. You have to come out and make a statement here with this first push. You cannot afford to find yourself in another scenario where you need some kind of monstrous defensive hold to kind of save your tournament life.
It's definitely something they cannot rely on Lunar Flare to make a mistake. They need to force Lunar Flare to make the mistake, and right now they're going to be going with a composition that kind of looks reminiscent of what Lunar Flare was playing last map, you know, minus the Junkrat. But Lunar Flare are going to be going again with this kind of brawl composition with the Baptiste Lucio. So they're going to look to close that distance, have the D.Va mitigate a lot of the heavy damage coming through, and they gotta be very, very careful with Nia Ninjas with this Junkrat, because he can take down one piece of this team, and all of a sudden, everything collapses. So Candy Bonds is going to be looking for that heavy pick, and Hapsy is going to be looking for anyone's head that he can find right now. But this rotation is pretty smart coming from Lunar Flare, keeping... not Lunar Flare, Nia Ninjas. This rotation is very smart from Nia Ninjas, keeping Lunar Flare away from them, forcing them to hide, giving up control of the point at this moment. But now, them kind of halfway pushing in, halfway pushing out. This is exactly where they don't want to be, though. They're in a position where they're going to get heavily pushed by Lunar Flare, but by Big Al going to be going down, and Candymon's already having a Riptire going into this next... not to this next fight. He's going to be going around, hopefully taking out the entirety of Lunar Flare, and he's going to be taking out Jacket Man, and now slowly but surely Nia Ninjas is going to be taking down Lunar Flare and taking control of this point pretty darn quickly. Great control, great patience, and Nia Ninjas is going to have control of first point.
Yeah, certainly. That was really well played to go take the high ground and then, you know, kind of slowly kite back as Lunar Flare started to push into them. It was really well played, kind of knowing what the advantages of their comp, or at least, you know, their DPS duo is, and that's definitely going to be kind of playing a little bit from range, allowing Candy Moss to spam in, and as we saw build up that tire incredibly quickly, allowing Hapsy to play from range, which is something that Lunar Flare is gonna kind of struggle with. Like, with this Bay Reaper, you are incredibly confined to those close range fights. You have to close the distance, get up in your opponent's face, and they weren't really able to do it in that first fight.
This is one of those great offensive comps, but defensively, I don't know how well this is going to work. Maybe they get some range on their DPS. Maybe, you know, Snowfair goes that Echo, but they do have to be careful. They do have a Blizzard coming into the next one, but Nia Ninjas is going to be having 5 ultimates, and here comes the Blizzard. It's going to be eaten by Snowfair. The Shatter going to be coming through, getting one, but not able to finish Disease off, and Lazy Turtle getting demeched, and you know, Nia Ninja's showing that they have the advantage currently going into this Streets phase. With multiple going down, the wall going to be going up, not cutting off anybody, but Candymons with another tire taking out Booty, and Nia Ninja's being dominant on King's Row right now.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic stuff from this team all the way around. I mean, from the ultimate being swallowed up there by Disease to the way that they just, like, they bend with the aggression that comes out from their red, and they fall back and you know, that over the longer fight they will have the advantage, and now they just need to look forward to be able to get it across their line here in the second.
Here comes a bomb taking out Candymon. Candymon finally falling. Only one pick, but enough to push Nia Ninja back, and now Big Al and Snow Ferret are going to have 2 DPS ultimates going into this next fight, and it looks like they're going to try and stagger Disease.
Yeah,
yes. Try.
I mean, yeah, not the longest stagger you'll ever see by any means, but still good stabilization there for Lunar Flare as they get the fight that they were finally looking for, able to engage with that self-destruct and the sound barrier that enables exactly what this comp wants to do, which is just run straight at their opponents and go right over them. See if they can replicate that with these DPS. Don't look at this Blizzard probably being very cautious about this one.
Death Blossom going to be taking out Desperado Dud and going to be pushing back Nia Ninjas, but again, this is one of those ones where, you know, I still think a ranged DPS could definitely work here, and Snowfair having that Blizzard, Get Some Booty, having this ultimate, so either they're really going to need to start focusing more on long range, or they're going to have to start spacing out their ultimates, because Nia Ninjas is coming in with a plethora of ultimates, 4 ultimates for Nia Ninjas, and that Deadeye and Riptire could be extraordinarily devastating to Lunar Flare's comp, and Snowfair going down, there goes the Blizzard, and now they got to back up and worry about this. Oh! Hi, Big Al, how are you?
And gotta be a little bit aware of the positioning there. Candymons doesn't even matter though. Just coming in with the retire from the top rope, and that's exactly what Nia Ninjas needed to push on through. The kill on the Snoop Ferret again proves to be really crucial. You cannot afford that win. You know, that's your big kind of opening ultimate. That's your engage tool for the side of Lunar Flare.
That Lunar Flare is kind of backed up, and this may prove a little bit better. This is going to be definitely a better point for their composition with this more close-up type of fighting. And again, Snoop Bear going to be popping out with this Blizzard, hopefully taking out as many as he can, stopping this push in its tracks. But this is still pretty far for Nia Ninjas, and this is exactly what they want. They still have 4 ultimates coming up for the next fight, and again, Candymons with that Riptire is doing so much work. Right now, Candymons is genuinely the best DPS in the server right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely had the most impact over the course of this map, and we're reversing the fortunes of Nia to an extent this time around. There's another bomb engage coming in.
Oh, that was a beautiful shield follow. And they're going to get Jacket Man slipping with Candymons taking out Big Al. Snoop Ferret going down. The Snoop Ferret takes down Candymons, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. Nia Ninja's still going to get more than enough kills to go ahead and push forward onto Lunar Flare. Lunar Flare backing up, gets some booty on 1 HP, taken down by Desperado Dud, and right now, Lunar Flare is kind of in panic mode, more or less. Trapped in their own spawn, there's not enough damage they can really do. Hapsy is more or less uncontested. Here comes the Blizzard to try and stop some of this pushing in, but Hapsy again with another Deadeye. The wall, beautiful wall coming up, trying to stopping that Deadeye, but you know, right now Hapsy's not very well contested at all. So maybe they do a little bit more to contest Hapsy. Lazy Turtle maybe tries to dive Hapsy a little bit more, but you know, now this is where Lunar Flare wants to be. They want to go ahead and be able to push into Nia Ninjas, but at this point,
they don't have the resources to keep pushing forward. They don't have the shield health. They don't have the player health to be able to press the advantage. So now they're backing up, using that.
And a shatter, beautiful shatter coming in, and Candymon's gonna be taking out 2, including the mech, and Nia Ninja's gonna be able to push in with another Riptire. And they're gonna be capping the point with not just over. They're going to be capping the point with 30 seconds to go. A pretty good defense, seeing as how quickly Nia Ninjas took the first point, but now Lunar Flare needs to either keep the same composition or maybe adjust a little bit to go ahead and try and get this point over a minute. Because right now what they need to do is have a very, very good attack. They cannot be held at all if they even want to, you know, consider trying to finish this game.
Certainly, I mean, that's exactly what we needed to see out of Nia Ninjas after falling down in this hole. They come out, they respond really, really well here on King's Row. But as you kind of mentioned earlier on, Lunar Flare, if they do kind of stick with the comp that we were seeing from them the first half of this map, this is where it will start to kind of have a little bit more success when they are the ones kind of dictating the terms of the fight, you know, pressing forward as much as possible.
Now, Hapsy and Candymon's gonna be sticking to that McCree Junkrat combination. Candymon's hoping to get as much value as he did on the offense, so I feel like Candymon's very confident on his Junkrat right now, especially against this Lunar Flare composition.
For sure, because they essentially just have to like run at him and move into the spray of mines that he will be sending their direction. So inherently he is just going to be finding big value in terms of putting out raw damage numbers, building up those retires super quickly. But now Lunar Flare going to be the ones to kind of set the tempo.
Okay. And they're going to be pushing in pretty quickly. Snoop Ferret kind of going in, maybe looking to catch someone out with that May wall, but again, they have to be careful with that Junkrat. So Junkrat pushing out so much damage, but that giving the Baptiste so much ult charge, but Booty going to be taken down by Candymon. And now they're going to be down to Reinhardt facing this Junkrat. That Junkrat has to go right now, but already having a Riptire online, taking out 2, and their first defense is going to be solid gold.
Very well played from Nia Ninjas. We're going to see if they can continue this advantage now without the rip tire to be able to back them up.
And I'm just looking at this one, just like, obviously Snoop Bear tried to take out the Junkrat, tried to take out Candymons before he could really get anything off, but the fact that Candymons was able to build up that Riptire so quickly. But now we're going to have an amplification matrix coming out, and the Ninja's going to have to just back off in front, behind that hotel. But all the damage, again, coming out from that Junkrat, they don't mind backing off.
They gotta watch out for this blizzard.
Oh, and it's not going to be able to take out the Mei, and that blizzard's going to take out the backline behind that amplification matrix, and it looks like that's going to be just enough to take first point, unless Candymons can build maybe another Riptire and save his team again.
Nah, I don't think it's going to happen this time around. It's just too overwhelming here from Lunar Flare as they continue to press their advantage. They just need to hunt down this Lucio.
Oh.
The beat does come in. That's a late committal there.
Oh, and Candymon's not able to get off that tire in time, so that beat is just going to extend the time for this hold as much as humanly possible. But again, that ultimate may put them at a disadvantage going into this Streets phase. And now Desperado Dud's going to be staggered very, very hard. So they're not going to have a Reinhardt for this upcoming push onto Streets phase.
No, certainly, and they're just going to have to back off and give up so much ground right now, especially with all the firepower that Lunar Flare has at their disposal. I mean, this is looking very good for the attackers as they press forward. They've got everything they need to be able to keep the momentum rolling here.
And the Reaper's going to be coming up top, hopefully trying to demech the D.Va, but looks like the entire team is up here, and able to take out the Immortality Field. Double Dollar able to put down his Immortality Field at the last second, saving his life, and now they don't have this Immortality Field for this Reaper ultimate. Regimane, she's going to be taken out pretty early with this death, and here comes the Death Blossom in the backline. That's stun, able to save his entire team. Hapsi stopping that Death Blossom, but the beat drop is going to be invested. 2 are down. Nia Ninjas, it's a 4v6. So they're really just going to be trying to invest in this fight, trying to take out, but Laser Turtle going to be taken out very quickly, and it looks like Nia Ninjas is going to be able to hold this point in the Streets phase, and I think this was just a poorly invested fight for Lunar Flare, and obviously they're only down to 2 ultimates right now, but I think maybe when the Baptiste and the Reaper were taken out, they should have just tried to back out as quickly as possible.
Certainly, they tried to make some magic happen by committing ultimates further into that fight, but it doesn't work out. Now they are going to be trying once again here. The Amp Matrix is a huge tool if they can get it set up around this corner.
And here comes the Amp Matrix, trying to take out as many as possible, and the Deadeye is going to take out Jacket Man once again, and they're going to put it in this wall, and Candymons with another Riptire going to be coming in, trying to take out, get some booty. He's going to be able to get that booty, and they're going to have to back out once again. Nia Ninja's holding very strong, and just not enough firepower coming out from Lunar Flare to counter these ultimates from Nia Ninja. They're building them so quickly. This Candymon's able to build up that Riptire almost at will every single fight.
Yeah, this has been absolutely insane performance coming out of the DPS of Nia Ninjas here, but once again, they are a bit dry on ultimates coming into this fight, so Lunar Flare, here is your time to take advantage of it. You've got the Blizzard, you've got the self-destruct.
And we're going to get the Blizzard taking up a lot of space, and that's going to be 2 down. Snoop Bear taking down 2 with that Blizzard, and is Disease going to be able to contest? He barely gets on at the last second, but they're going to get another Deadeye. The wall, again, saving Lunar Flare, and now they're just going to be trying to hold as much as humanly possible, but Lunar Flare are able to cap it with just under 3 minutes, but now Nia Ninja is at a better advantage. They were able to cap with a little bit more time, so both team, Nia Ninja's trying to get this down to overtime or stop them so they can take 1 map in this series and start their reverse sweep.
Yeah, certainly. This is their opportunity to kind of bring this series back if they can pull off the hold here. They got the Riptire once again for Candymons, but Flare getting aggressive right now.
And another Riptire, not going to take out anybody, but Desperado done through the Amplification Matrix, takes out 2, and Lunar Flare has to get the heck out of dodge now.
Certainly really well executed on that ult, kind of play there with the Amp Matrix. Both teams committing that ult to the fight, but it's Nia Ninjas who get so much more out of it, and now they are able to stabilize a little bit here as we slowly kind of the timer starts to tick away for Lunar Flare. This is where they need to make something happen. They've got ults to work with. The sound barrier engages have been really good from them throughout the series. Can they make another one happen here?
We are going to get a Death Blossom again, going to be stunned by Hapsi. Hapsi really keeping an eye out for Big Al, not allowing him to do much of anything with that Death Blossom. Deadeye going to be coming out, and the Shatter going to be taking out as many as he needs to go, and it's going to take out Jacket Man once again, going down to an ultimate, and Nia Ninja's going to be winning this fight. A minute left to go. Lunar Flare is just down to no ultimates except for maybe a self-destruct and a amplification matrix. And honestly, I can say without a doubt, Candymons is probably going to have a Riptire by the beginning of the next fight.
Yeah, it's definitely possible here as Lunar Flare in that last fight was disastrous. They commit ultimates despite the fact that they're losing. The Blizzard goes out and they can't kind of recover when the Shatter comes in on the other side. Now they are down to their last attempt here, but they've lost their Rhine. They need to back up. They cannot afford to take this fight without their main tank, but they are trying to stick around, it seems.
Yeah, they're trying to get around it, and Nia Ninja's going to be taking the advantage in this fight. And here's that Junkrat tire, that Riptire that I was talking about, that he already has to start this fight with.
Going really aggressive with this positioning.
Oh, and gets a boot. He's going to be taken down. The main tank going down once again. Snoop Fair going to taken down once again. Getting the Blizzard onto the point, but it looks like it's going to be a too little, too late. Desperado Dud taking out Reggie Main, and Diva Bomb going to be popping out, but Hapsi taking out 2. Finally getting someone with his Deadeye, and Nia Ninjas look like they're going to be finally able to take a map off of Lunar Flare this match.
Indeed they will. When their backs were against the wall, they made their stand on King's Row, pulling off a great defensive final point here, able to shut down the aggression of Lunar Flare and find themselves their first map win of the series. They are not done just yet.
Play of the game.
And just Candymon's doing so well on this Junkrat, and it was just so well. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. He was able to have a Riptire literally for every single fight. Every single time they needed a huge ultimate, his Riptire was there. Every time they needed a big moment, Riptire. Just Riptire, Riptire, Riptire. And at that point, I think Lunar Flare maybe needed to change up their composition. Obviously, they were doing relatively well holding it off, but it took ultimates really for them to win any type of fight. And at that point, maybe they go for some range, maybe they go for something else of that sort.
Certainly, I mean, there's definitely things you can go for, but I think if you're Lunar Flare, you're not yet to the point, and especially there on King's Row, you weren't yet to the point where you're like, we need to change what we're doing, because up to this point, everything has been working for them. Like they have been the dominant team over the course of most of this series. It wasn't until this most recent map when they started to really run into some roadblocks in the form of Candymons, who is right now just displaying why Junkrat is such a massive kind of pick at I would say like the rookie level and these lower kind of elo tournaments and series. The Junkrat is just like it's so simple in terms of like the execution and what you're required, and the return can be so big. Like as we saw there from Candymons, when you are kind of being able to like hit your mines and getting a little bit of help occasionally from enemies kind of walking into them, like you build up ult so quickly. It's absolutely insane. They really depended on Candymons, and he delivered in a big way on King's Row there.
Yes, and going into this next map, this next map is obviously just our daily reminder that Assault is still in the game.
For now, we're not in Overwatch 2 just yet. Eventually, we will, we will see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel eventually. But for now, we do still, of course, have to deal with it. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting because Nia Ninjas they've done. I would say kind of like the legwork. They've done a lot of what needed to be done to kind of turn the series around because now they are the ones who have the momentum. Like they are the ones who are riding the high of being able to pull off that victory on King's Row. And if they can carry that with them into our next map, then hey, we are looking at another 5-map series between these two titans of the rookie division. And once you get to map 5, absolutely anything is possible.
No, most definitely. And, obviously they need to focus on this Assault map. And, in this last map, I'm pretty sure Nia Ninjas was able to take this map and send it to a map 5. So they are in basically the same situation as last game, but so is Lunar Flare. And Lunar Flare did have a couple of hiccups going into this last game. And as far as I know, I'm pretty sure actually Lunar Flare going into this matchup was Volskaya last time. So we're going to see if we get the same type of map. And it looks like we're actually going to get a little bit of a change up from the last game. So here's our first change up from these two's last matchup. We're going to get Hanamura. And this is another map that kind of favors Junkrat, at least on this first point. I've seen many a Junkrat succeed on this point. So we may be getting a little bit of the Junkrat or Pharah from Snoop Ferret, or, Candymons is going to continue working with that Junkrat so well. So we may get that rush down. We may even see the Symmetras that we originally saw from the first map. So
that's exactly what I was about to say. Is like this is a prime position, especially for the attackers, to kind of pull out those Symmetra, TP strats. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. You can take advantage of the high ground. You can obviously do the classic, just like straight to the point, start the brawl off in a flash, and get the action going hot and heavy. And based on what we're seeing in the spawn right now, that might indeed be the strategy here for Lunar Flare, as Big Al is, of course, on that sim. But Nia Ninjas on the other side don't feel like they should or need to kind of change anything whatsoever. Candymons is rolling. Hapsy was finding a lot of value, I'd say, like in the neutral fights on the McCree. I mean, the Deadeyes were kind of getting shut down a little bit by the walls coming in from Snoop Ferret. But
whoa!
Speaking of which,
well, that's a good first impression, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. Candymons is going to be sticking on to this Junkrat once again. Honestly, at this point, I think maybe they duel with a Junkrat. They really need to deal with this Junkrat because Candymons is being allowed to essentially have free reign over this game.
Yes, certainly. Are they going to be prepared for the TP, though? It's going to the high ground.
Looks like they're going to be going around the side and going in from the side door instead of trying to go into the main door. But again, this is a small little area, perfect for a little bit of a Junkrat, but they're going to push in as heavily as possible, trying to take down Desperado Dud, and he's going to go down immediately, and there is control of the point. Here comes the turrets onto point, trying to immediately burn anything that tries to walk on that is not a part of Lunar Flare.
Certainly, I mean that's like picture perfect on the execution with the Symmetra.
Oh, here comes the Tire! Not able to take out anyone, but Snoop Ferret again going down. Hapsy taking down Lazy Turtle, but right now gets some booty. Is kind of just swinging freely on point. And Candymons at 40 HP. Immortality Field. Candymons able to take out Jacket Man.
This isn't over.
And right now, this is exactly what they cannot let happen. Candymons was allowed to stay alive that entire time, and look at the amount of damage he's able to put out with Hapsy.
Oh my god, I mean, like nearly back up to another Riptide here, like 55% on the second one after just one fight. It is 2 ticks on the board there for Lunar Flare, so they do get something for their troubles, but that fight looked like they had all the advantages they needed, but it just slips away as Candymon stays alive and just dishes out insane amounts of damage over the course of the fight. Now we're just going to get hot and heavy with the Sim TP, but it's blown up immediately.
And they're going to be going into this next game. That Shatter is going to be going directly into the shield. And here comes a Shatter to counter theirs. And they're able to take down two. Here comes the Diva Bomb. Slowly losing his... Oh! Not able to get too much. And Snoop Ferret able to take down Disease. And now they're going to be pushing on to the second point with 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Big Al thinking that they were going to go try and TP to the left side. But it looks like we're just going to see if we can go down main.
Yeah, I mean, can still get a lot of value out of the TP in this situation, and they're going to try and speed up the pace once again here, just trying to get right onto the point and force a fight.
All the ultimates coming out from Nia Ninjas to try and go ahead and stop Lunar Flare's momentum, and you know what? It worked, but that is their entire stock of ultimates, and Lunar Flare is going to be coming back with 4 ultimates, so I don't know if that was exactly planned out. Maybe it was a little bit of a panic cue.
Yeah, that was, I think, at least, like, the Riptire, I think, is the one that they really could have held on to, because the Deadeye Amp Matrix combo, really well executed and very, very powerful in that situation when you've got the high ground control, but now they're going to be at a bit of a deficit. The Blizzard is here for Snoop Ferret, and that can be the thing to kind of lock down this point and secure them a good fight here.
And gonna be pushing in again. Here comes these ultimates, ready main, and the beat drop coming through, trying to give Lunar Flare a little bit more sustainability with this fight on point. And here comes the Blizzard trying to take down the front line for Oh, Hapsy gonna get taken down off that high ground, and right now Double Dollar is the only one on that high ground. Him getting knocked off, and Lunar Flare looks like they're completely taking control of this point. And Hapsy going to be switching back over to this Doom Fist that served him so well in the last game. So we're going to see if he can get anything. Not even able to touch point.
Yeah, just because deleted immediately there. And now it's the Wrecking Ball coming in from this Pesto dude, trying to get onto the point and stall for time. They want anything they can get out of this fight, but it's not looking good here for Nia Ninjas. They don't have enough members here to focus anyone down, find kills. They do get... You know, the kill on the Big Owl before the Death Blossom comes alive. That's a lifeline here for Nia Ninjas.
Nia Ninjas really needs to focus on taking down the supports, the sturdy beams holding up Lunar Flare right now. Double Dollar taking out Snoop Bear, so both DPS are down for Lunar Flare, so they really can't let this fight be taken so far where the DPS are allowed to come back for Lunar Flare. And Lazy Turtle taking out 2 by himself, and the Reaper is going to be back. Shatter taking down Disease, going to be demeching him. Here comes a bomb, not able to get anybody, but Big Al still with this Death Blossom, and it's just going to clean up the point, and Lunar Flare is going to be capping with just under 2 minutes to go.
I think you made exactly the right call there, Airborne. Nia Ninjas, they were able to get a couple of picks, but they don't find the priority targets that they needed. The support stay alive in that fight. The Immortality Field doing a lot of work. The sound barrier as well coming in from Jacket Man was absolutely massive to hold out in time for Big Al to get back into the fray, come in with that Death Blossom to really seal the deal there for Lunar Flare, who, despite some issues on point A, they really play that final fight to pretty much perfection. They get their advantages, they stay alive as a team, and they come away with 2 points on the board and a great opportunity to have a shot to close out this series.
They do have a shot to close out the series, but looks like Lunar Flare is still not going to be taking the Junkrat. They're going to be sticking with this composition that won them the first 2 maps. Well, for the second map and a little bit of the first map. So we're going to see how they play. Maybe they're expecting a teleport. So they're maybe going to hold back on points. So we'll see where they sit, but it looks like we're going to see a standard brawl compositions with Candymon off of the Junkrat, which I personally think maybe they should keep him on the Junkrat. He is on a roll with this Junkrat, but okay, it looks like they're going to be going for a more teleportation strat, and they're going to try and go for point control.
Lunar Flare, they're ready for this. Like they're set up around where they think the TP is going to go.
And it looks like the TP is going to be heading right side, so we're going to be seeing these teams immediately fight front line to front line on this point. They cannot let this Symmetra on point. They can't let this Sim get set up. And here comes the Immortality Field, and the wall cutting off all Nia Ninjas from their tank line. They're able to break that wall pretty quickly and get out of there, but Big Al taking down Candymon, so there's their amp up damage immediately gone. And now Hapsi taking out Jacket Man. Jacket Man gonna get picked off once again. Wall coming out, cutting off. Disease has to be careful when he's going out here. He can't risk getting goofed off right now, but the amplification matrix is gonna be coming out. So much damage coming through for Lunar Flare, and Nia Ninja's kind of trapped over here, to be completely honest. They need to find enough damage to take out one person, and they gotta be careful for that wall. They cannot get trapped in there, but Despesto Dud gonna be having this Earth Shatter, just waiting for his shield to drop. Shield is gonna be broken, no Earth Shatter just yet, but Jacket Man gonna be taking out Disease. Double Dollar gonna be taking out Big Al, so we are gonna get a little bit of a side-to-side, couple of picks, and the beat drop gonna be coming out right now. Nia Ninjas needs to try and push in, but looks like they're slowly getting pushed. The beat drop is gonna be coming out for a little bit more sustained, but I don't think they have enough members to really finish out this fight.
No, it doesn't seem to be the case as Lunar Flare just stand their ground on the point. They're able to buy plenty of time and just continue to play around what the Mei provides in terms of, you know, zone control in and around these choke
looks like
points.
they found somebody.
Yeah,
Candymon's here in the bad place.
That's rough.
That was also a very long fight, and here comes the Diva Bomb in this open courtyard, and down goes Despesto Dud, and
That's rough.
right now, Candy.
There was nothing he could do there. Like the Rhine is in such a lose-lose situation. Like you turn around and you open yourselves up to getting frozen by the Mei on the other side. You don't turn around and hey, there's a Diva Bomb in your back line that's gonna delete your entire team. So no easy options, no right answers for Nia Ninjas in that fight. But they're slowly running out of time and trying to find their way in, but it's been so difficult so far.
I think maybe they should try and go the high ground or something else. They do have a couple of ultimates. Despesto Dud is going to be having that Earth Shatter, hopefully working with... Oh, he's not even going to get the Flash Pin off! He's just frozen inside. Big Al going to be finishing off the rest of Nia Ninjas, and now they're down to 2 ultimates for this last fight. Get Some Booty going to be having this Earth Shatter, so... Right now, Get Some Booty has their win condition. If he can get more than one with this Earth Shatter, it is a wrap. Lunar Flare are going to go ahead and finish off this game. But finally going to be going over to the Junkrat a little bit late, in my opinion.
Is he even going to have time to build up to the tire? That's the question here.
Oh, and there's a Shatter! He's able to grab multiple! And it looks like that is going to be it. 30 seconds.
I think they've got time to regroup here. I mean, it depends how Lunar. It depends how Lunar Flare play. Oh, you needed to die, dude. Like this is a bad look. You cannot afford to be going down that late because the rest of your team is respawning. You're still 5 seconds away from being back alive here. You're not gonna be a part of this fight at all. The Wrecking Ball for Disease will get in here to trigger the overtime for sure. Hapsi on the desperation Nuke Fist.
This is what Candymon's needed. Oh, Hapsi's gonna be frozen, but Candymon's exactly what he needed to go ahead and get 2.
Yeah, he's thriving in the chaos. He's finding the answers, and somehow, some way, Nia Ninjas, they have brought out a stay of execution. They are not out of it just yet. They're gonna find point A, extend their time bank miraculously here on Hanamura and Lunar Flare. What happened there? Just get ripped to pieces as they try to stop the staggered members of Nia Ninjas from getting to the point. They don't pay attention to Candymons, and you think they would have learned their lesson by now.
Nah. Candymon's now going to have that Riptire ready and waiting to go, and they do have a pretty small time bank comparatively, but right now, Lunar Flare is only going to have Snoop Ferret's ultimate, so that can immediately stop a push. If they're going to go directly to point, they got to be careful for that Blizzard.
And they don't have a Diva to eat it, and they do actually
get much out of the Blizzard.
Oh my god,
Hapsy,
how is this
Candymons.
happening?
Oh, E4E and Double Dollar are going to be going down. That's the worst two that could have gone down in this situation. No supports and the spawns being so close. This contest could turn very south very, very fast.
Yeah, all it's going to take is another couple of picks to come through here for the side of Lunar Flare to be able to pull this one back. They do kind of lose a couple of members here, and the Lucio is back into the fight. The Coalescence is there as well. The Ninjas have survived long enough to make this one competitive, and they're gunning down the stragglers from Lunar Flare.
Disease, just so much, so little. Oh no, the Death Balls are going to be coming out, going to get two! Candymon's taking down Big Al, and oh no,
Disease is still here though.
Disease is still here, high charge with that Graviton Surge. He's ready to just take this point by himself with his tank, with his main tank buddy. But he's going to be going down, and it's just not going to be enough.
That's
that
tragic.
contest, both of those supports kind of going down, force it in and out. That Death Blossom was humongous. That Shatter Death Blossom saved this game for Lunar Flare.
I mean, it all comes down to two ultimates over the course of that incredibly extended fight. It's the bomb from Lazy Turtle that picks off the two supports initially, and then Big Al finding the right opportunity to come in with the Death Blossom. Now the time is running.
We have another tire.
Ninjas.
We got another tire ready, waiting to go. And here comes the Graviton Surge. Second man gonna get picked off immediately. Hapsy getting some booty. And Big Al gonna be going down to Despesto Dud. And again, this fight looking south for Lunar Flare. Are they gonna be able to touch? 1 minute to go.
Okay.
1 minute.
I mean, that was really close to being disaster for Ninjas. I mean, I think they finished with around 30 seconds left on the clock. That'll, of course, go up to a minute for the extra rounds. But if that extends just a little bit further, if Lunar Flare is able to get any kind of stall going there at the end of that fight, then maybe that becomes an overtime push, and Ninjas could have been in a really, really rough position. But as it is, they're going to get one shot, like one good opportunity to give, to continue this series. They need to put something on the board here. It feels like you absolutely cannot let this go to a situation where you need to full hold on Hanamura to kind of get the win. But they've got a minute to work with. I'm curious what their comp choice is going to be here. Candymons is flashing Echo right now, but the Junkrat, as we've said time and time again, has been the recipe for success for this team. And in their hour of greatest need, they're going to be potentially changing things up completely. I don't know if the Wrecking Ball is real. It's not going to be as they go for. I mean, still a very different composition from what we've seen from them throughout the series. Candymons on the McCree this time. Hapsy will be there on the Doomfist.
Hapsy's gonna hit a Fire Strike directly to the face, and Lunar Flare realizing that they're not gonna be playing this composition with a Symmetra once again. So now Hapsy's gonna be frozen, taken down, and straightforward. Ninjas gotta die quickly. They need to get out of there very quickly. Disease gonna get walled off, and he's gonna get killed after his team staggered out. 30 seconds left to go. Not able to build much. Candymon's gonna be switching over to that Symmetra. They're looking for a lot of speed.
That's a good decision. Like, they needed that, because otherwise they were going to have to run head first into the Ant Matrix of Regina Magi on the other side, and they could not afford that, so they can bypass it a little bit here and take the fight.
Oh, and
TP
just immediately destroyed. And here comes the Amplification Matrix. Big Al taking down Despesto Dud, and both Candymon's going to get taken down. And Hapsy gonna get slowly found out, and it looks like Lunar Flare is gonna be forcing the Ninjas to have the full hold to even keep this championship going.
And now, I mean, their chances of actually winning Hanamura gone completely here. It is the Wrecking Ball getting back onto the point and from Despesto Dud, but I mean, just doesn't have the support in that situation. Doesn't have the numbers to do anything whatsoever, and Lunar Flare. Now they can smell it. It is within their grasp to take this grand finals to take the title of GitGud Limited here in the rookie division, and all it's going to take is a single tick here on Hanamura.
That's all they need. Just that one single tick on Hanamura. And what they need to do is Lunar Flare either needs to rush in quickly. They cannot be taking extended fights, because that's exactly what Nia Ninja wants to do. They want to keep these extended fights, get these picks late, and force Lunar Flare to waste their 2 minutes. Nia Ninjas is also in a situation where they need Candymons to come up big once again.
Most definitely, and I mean, when their backs are against the wall, they're going back to what has worked. It's Candymons on the Junkrat. It's comfort picks kind of across the board here for Nia Ninjas. We've even got Double Dollar going to the Ana this time around. They've been on the Baptiste for the most part throughout this series, but now when all the chips are stacked against them, this is what they're going to try to roll with here to close out the series. Same approach from Lunar Flare as we saw the last time around. Big Al on the Symmetra going to be trying to position them, give them the approach that they want for these fights, and build up the damage with that laser beam.
Ooh, and they're going to be going on to the high ground. Hopefully going around. Oh no! Oh no! Double Dollar! Double Dollar, get out of there! That's a beautiful bubble, but he's not going to be able to survive. Get some booty. But Despesto Dud taking down Snoop Ferret, but the Symmetra is on the point, and she has her beam built up so powerful, and that's just so much damage coming from such a little DPS. And right now, Despesto Dud is trapped in a corner. There's not much she can do, and Lunar Flare is going to cap this point, and they are going to win our GitGud Rookie Division Championship 3-1.
That's a sad way, in some ways, for this series to end there, because to me, it all starts obviously with that TP and finding Double Dollar just totally out of position in that moment. Like the Ana simply cannot be alone like that. You cannot be in a situation where that happens, and it costs Nia Ninjas any chance to kind of pull off the full hold that they needed in that situation. Still, though, they need to be commended for the way that they made things close. The King's Row that they played was absolutely beautiful. Hanamura, they were looking like they had a real shot at it. They kind of pulled things back from the brink there on their attack round the first time around, and made something of a map that nearly seemed lost. And that alone is something to be commended. But Lunar Flare just too strong on the day.
Way too strong on the day, and they found a composition and they made it work. Honestly, they made one change to their composition, and that was a Symmetra instead of the Reaper. But that Reaper May composition, that rushdown, may not have worked for them in King's Row, but every other map it seemed to have worked for them moving forward. And at this point, might as well stick with what work. It's the championship. There's no need to, maybe wholesale change. Obviously, it did not work on King's Row, but on a map like Hanamura, which was their map choice after losing King's Row, it worked very, very well for them. They had that rush down perfectly calculated, and they were able to honestly kind of neutralize, except for their defense, kind of neutralize the Junkrat coming out from Nia Ninjas.
And now, as our series has concluded, it's time for you, the viewer, to weigh in on your opinions of how this series played out. Tell us who you think was the MVP of this one for the side of Lunar Flare. A lot of great options. That was a really impressive showing from start to finish for this team. And right now, it looks like Jacket Man is pulling away with an early lead in the voting for the time being. But you still got a little bit of time to get your votes in. Let us know who you think deserves those honors. And I cannot argue with Jacket Man as a choice. I mean, the Lucio is obviously a centerpiece in a lot of these rush compositions. They are oftentimes the ones that are calling out, hey, now we are going in. I'm amping up speed boost. I'm throwing in the sound barrier. We are running at them. And we saw that time and time again for Lunar Flare. He was, definitely a bit of the tip of the spear at times, which is not always what you expect or even what you want out of your Lucio. But when it's executed well, it can be so valuable, and it will be enough for Jacket Man to come away with that MVP tonight, and well earned.
Most definitely well earned. And you know, obviously with the MVP votes, they're obviously going to have a championship to celebrate as well. So
Of course.
we do have our rookie division champions in Lunar Flare taking the match 3-1 over Nia Ninjas. Honestly, great match, great rematch. Lunar Flare obviously did a little bit of their homework. They were able to adjust Nia Ninjas. Nia Ninjas came very close to taking this to a map 5. They did amazing on King's Row, and they were so close on Hanamura. And we could have easily been sitting here still casting a map 5. So I have nothing but respect for both teams, and one thing I do want to say, I do apologize to the main tank from Nia Ninjas. I kept calling him Desperado Dud. His name is Despesto Dud, and I do apologize. That is completely my fault. But moving on to the next game after the Lunar Flare Nia Ninjas match, we will be moving on to the Fruit Smack and Crunch Time Crunchers for our next map. And kind of looking forward to this matchup. What are you kind of looking forward to? Fruit Smack looks like they are completely undefeated.
Yeah,
completely
certainly.
undefeated, with Crunch Time Crunchers only having 1 loss on the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be yet another rematch of kind of the upper bracket finals coming around in the grand finals. Fruit Schmack have been, we're the ones to get the better end of that matchup last time around. But we'll see who can come away with the advanced division title. But first, we've got to step away for a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We will be back with more of Get Good Limited.